Hello, this is Saturday, October the 30th, 2021. This is the Side Show. And here this morning, this time of day, still advocating use of the mask. The positivity rate continues to drop in the country, also in this area. A little rainy this morning, a little chilly, fall weather. Notice it takes a little longer for the sun to come up, maybe about 8 a.m. or so. Goes down a little earlier as well. Saturday, one day before Halloween trick-or-treat officially. Probably going to do that tonight, depending on the weather. Thought I would take a few minutes and talk to you about some things. Don't forget to sanitize those hands and be careful. Sports a little bit. Green Bay and the Cardinals. 24-21. Green Bay came into the game. I think they were absent 3 players, and it was an exciting game. Stayed awake for all of it. Last 2 minutes are, well, now they're football history, but you couldn't have asked for more excitement and a not give up attitude on both sides. 7-1, 7-1. Green Bay and Arizona. Cleveland and LA yesterday. 113-101. LeBron and Melo clinched that deal. Went past Cleveland as far as some stats are concerned. Satisfied the spread as well. Sports. Facebook. There's been another article about, as of yesterday, Facebook is now being referred to as Meta. But this was in reference to Mark Zuckerberg giving a few minutes time to an explanation of the metaverse with video. So it was pretty interesting. I remember when it was first mentioned, I had an idea in my head about glasses and some kind of chip where you could just see it like the visor type deal, and be in there having a conversation, call people in. They can show you things, and you can talk about some other things. That went on. One particular line caught my interest. In the virtual world, somebody was showing an artist display of something that they thought was interesting. It began to fade on the screen. They said, just a minute, let me tip the artist for a little more time. My ears went up. So it would seem that there's some money involved. Also, there was what you consider a video of a pet running in the yard that was also displayed, not in a virtual sense, but in a real sense as you would make a video today. So when we first perused this idea, it was, I guess, months ago, but around the time that Mark Zuckerberg was due to testify before Congress or appear before Congress. So however long that timeline is from then to now was when that idea was verbalized by me, and it's pretty much holding the line to what I imagined. So, as they say, we'll see. But officially, Facebook is Meta. I mentioned Vanessa Bryant in regards to court case and pictures related to the crash, helicopter crash that killed 7 people, including Kobe and Gianna. So she had sued the Sheriff's Department, which I was aware of, for displaying videos of the crash. An individual involved in training in the Sheriff's Department was at a bar. 7 displayed the pictures to some of the patrons. Okay, now I'm finding out that not only did that person do it, but another person from the fire department also was in a group of friends or group of people and displayed photos also. So Vanessa's suing. So the response from the sheriff's department is, number one, is government employees that can't be compelled to come to court per se in that capacity. But their response is that they want Vanessa to have psychological evaluation in regards to how that affected her, knowing that these photos have been displayed. So here's where you kind of like pump the brakes. Vanessa's saying that she did not hear about the helicopter crash involving Kobe and Gianna and the other people from the sheriff's department. She heard it initially over social media. So that's number one. And then when she did speak to the sheriff's department, she specifically asked them to make sure that no photos of the site were circulated. That's number two. So that's kind of like where it's at now with her. I have heard some word on some of the other people that were involved, but I haven't specifically read anything about the results of that court decision and how it's going to play out. But as with any tragedy, psychological evaluation is going to show the loss and the trauma associated with that. So we'll leave that to be taken care of, as she was cognizant enough to go ahead and sue them and to bring it up and to complain. Okay, Vanessa. This is something where we're kind of going to jump around a little bit. Let's mix it up if I don't get to print the title on this video. You've probably seen bass players, Stanley Clarke, probably heard of other bass players, one of which is Victor Wooten, who is a part of Victor Wooten Brothers, who have performed. Victor Wooten himself is a 5-time Grammy Award winner. So I'm bringing this up because now, as a bass player, these are black men that I'm talking about in the music industry as bass players. This weekend, specifically from Thursday to Sunday, so we just have Saturday now, and I'm just now hearing about it. He's performing with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, 8 p.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow. So the reason why you might want to go see this, because in his performance, they're going to be playing a piece that he wrote himself called La Sessions Trace. So if you have any interest in bass and any interested in seeing an original performance of a piece or performance of a piece written by somebody sitting there, then tune in. Tickets are available. BostonSymphonyOrchestra.org. Put that in there. Excuse me. In a Kentucky high school, I've been kind of avoiding this one, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. Over the past couple of weeks, it's been homecomings at colleges and universities, specifically universities, and specifically been dealing with HBCUs, which I'll get back to a little bit later. But the idea, since I'm here in Kentucky, I'm just going to roll it out there, because I've avoided it a couple times passing it and seeing the article. Kentucky High School staff members got lap dances from students, photos appear to show. So I finally went ahead and read that, said lap dances from the students. So it seems that there's a principal who's highly disciplined, send people home for not being properly dressed, things of this nature. During homecoming week, part of the celebration show activities was lap dancing for the staff. So, however this plays out, it seems I think that already some disciplinary action has been handed out in regards to that, and details I haven't run across yet, but just the idea kind of makes your eyebrows raise. So I thought I would put that one on there. Kentucky. T.I. The last video I saw of him, he was explaining to somebody about how they should watch themselves and be careful what they say, never can tell how things might come back and turn around. But this is not pertaining to that, I don't think. T.I. shows off-site of his 143-unit affordable housing development set to open in 2022. So it's supposed to be 40% done in his childhood neighborhood, a green space with, places for children to game, stores, shops, etc., things of this nature, rather than let the property go to high-end, quote-unquote, developers. He decided to step in Atlanta and put this work together to develop this property. So I wanted to say that. Tubby Smith, if you have any affiliation with college basketball, the name Tubby Smith will come to mind. Most recently, in my own experience, Tubby Smith was here in Kentucky at UK and brought them a national championship. And he's being acknowledged for his influences and for his career in basketball. At one time, the winningest coach at 631 victories. Now, presently, if I understand everything together, part of the A&T, that's North Carolina, and the Big South. And coming from Maryland Eastern Shore, I can put some dibs in that area myself, got some connections there, can appreciate that. Then we have history, which HBCUs. So Tubby Smith is now a few years older, so that acknowledgement goes out, and he in turn is acknowledging the black coaches of his time and era, to name some that I'm familiar with, John Thompson, that helped influence him and make an impression on him about coaching. So Tubby Smith. I'm also looking around, and you know how Netflix always has something. So I saw this show, I think it's Sex, Love, and Goop. So I'd already seen some other shows, and so I was just kind of like, well, I'll wait. It's by Gwyneth Paltrow. So come to find out, I'm looking at this article that Gwyneth Paltrow is on Jada Pinkett's Red Table Talk, and they're discussing the show. So in the process of discussing the show, relationships, love, including sex, things of this nature. So the discussion kind of goes, and I haven't actually heard the session for that Red Table Talk show at that involving this, but I'm getting the information. So Jada admits. Now, I understand it's Jada, her mother, and Willow participating. Willow stopped in for a little bit at almost all of these Red Table Talks when somebody else is invited. So the point I'm getting to is, and it made sense to me, when you speak about love and relationships, I myself included, you have a tendency, well, if you love me, you know what I need, you know what I want. I shouldn't really have to say, and this and that. But Jada is now commenting after 22 years of being married to Will. So they were, well, however years, they were maybe 22 when they got married. Now they're closer to 50. Well, I think it's 50. So that's years between when we started and where we are now. So expressing what you would like, and I guess if I put it bluntly, sexually, probably has changed over time, and also your manner of expressing it. So I think her statement was that if you love me, you should know what I need. And I think that's an assumption that most people in love, quote unquote, will make. But sometimes you have to verbalize that and do it in a manner that is effective and gets results that you are looking for, and not be offended on either side. Having been in love myself, sometimes that might just come down to sitting around each other and there's this silence, and then one or the other will say, "What?" And the other person will say, "What?" And I'll leave it at that. Cat Williams, World War III tour. All I'm going to say about that, I did take the time to listen to it. It was funny to me, probably funny to you. But he starts out saying they are lying to all of us. So the war is between lying and telling the truth. That's it. Hashtag